So welcome. We are going to learn about the button and icon elements in this particular tutorial. So we click an option and we add a button, and we click another option and we add an icon. An icon, you can play around with this. Click on an icon option. You can select a color for the icon. If you make an icon solid, you are telling an icon to have a circle background. And now we have the second option over here that says background color. Background color is referring to the background color of the circle. So we can select on this and select on another color. As you can see, we are doing the wrong thing because the color we have as the icon color doesn't complement the background for that particular icon color. So what do we do from here? We select on icon color and we are going to switch the color to match the background styling. So you see from here, and everything is setting up in place. Now we have this background, but it's still not looking very nice because we are not seeing the icon very well. All you need to do is to go to the background. We can go over here and reduce the opacity of the background, okay, until it becomes a little bit lighter, and we see we are having that aesthetics. If you click option and duplicate this, we can select on this second one, select on the background color, give it a purple background, select on the color itself, give it a darker purple, okay, select on the first one, and we have to reduce the opacity. Okay, now it doesn't mean that the color opacity you reduce for the first one must be the one you reduce for the second one. No, use your eyes again. I would say you can override the rule, make sure everything stands still. So if you use the same color, different colors might affect different styling. For instance, we use this particular size for this opacity. What if in the same color we go brighter purple? You see, it becomes lighter. You get? So don't use the same size. Use it according to your concept on how it looks in your eyes. Okay? But make sure the two are actually becoming complementary to each other. So if we select on this, and in the opacity, we made it to be too thick like this, and it's thicker than the one we have in the green, it doesn't make any sense. So you have to reduce it in a way that it becomes a kind of complementary to each other. Though the buttons are going to have different colors, but they are going to maintain the same consistency in styling and otherwise. That's the basic things you need to know about the solid elements. Now we click on outline. Outline means you want to give it a circle around, okay, without a background color. A circle around, and we talked about solid, and none means we don't want anything at all. Okay, so usually I like my button styling to be on solid, and everything is okay. Now here is icon size. You can reduce and increase the icon size as you want. Now, icon size don't affect the background size. The background size is different from the icon size. The icon itself is the icon inside of the background, and the background is outside. Now we leave the icon like so, and we want to increase the background size, like the padding around the icon. We want to increase it. You do that from here, space around. Okay, it's going to increase it and leaving the icon size as it is. Now you can also go back here and increase the icon size to match whatever you have from the outer side, and also reduce this to whatever size you want. You just play around. There is no big deal in iconography. Okay, now if you want to switch, or if you want to switch the icon, you can select the particular icon pattern you want to use from here. Okay, this particular icon family means different type of icon styles. Like now we have the font awesome. Okay, font awesome is an icon property or icon family. So we have many icons inside the font awesome. So we click on the thumbnail and we clear this. This is the first thing you need to do. When you clear it, you're going to see all icon that comes with the font awesome. You can click on this and click on the linear. You're going to see all icons that comes with the linear icon. Click on this, click on oxygen core. You're going to see all icons that come with oxygen core, and whatever icon we select automatically replaces this one. Whatever icon we select from here, as we have placed an icon with a particular name, we need to come back here and clear out this before we see an icon for the other sects. Okay, we can select on this and it replaces that. I hope you get that very clearly. So that is it about the icon. It's very simple and straightforward. You can go to advanced, you can play around with most of the effects as you can see from here, but do not place a background for the icon. Do not do that. You can do the background from the other side like I told you, like I guided you guys. Okay, now let me teach you a little trick about the icon elements. Okay, so for instance, we don't want this to be circle. We want the icon to be like this Bobby Media icon. Let me scroll down so you see the icon style. You see it? This is not circle and this is not boxed. It have a border radius that is curved. How do we achieve that? What we need to do is to add a div. Okay, when we add a div over here, then we can add in our icon. We can use the one we have already created. Just drag it into the div. Okay, now when we select on this, we are going to remove the solid, that's untick the solid and leave it to be what it is. Now we have that, we can select on the div outside the icon now and give the div a particular background. Maybe we give this div a background of lighter purple, select on it and reduce the opacity a little more. Okay, now go back to advanced, we go to size and spacing and we are going to give it a padding of, let's give it a padding of 5 and apply that to all. Now we have given that padding. Let's increase this padding a little. 7 is okay. Apply to all. So now we can now go back to advanced, go to border radius, give it a border radius of 10. Let's increase it because we need more border radius now. You see it? Now the icon size is too small. If we want to make the icon size smaller, we can do that from here. But watch what happens. It affects the style that we give to the border radius. The border radius is now turning to becoming circle. You see it? Now, to avoid that, what you need to do is this. Watch very closely. Now we have reduced the size to what we want. To go to advanced, we can now go to size and spacing, select on the div itself, get to advanced, go to size and spacing, and from here, we can now give it a border radius size that we want. A padding size that we want to see. So the padding now is actually matching up to that. Okay, so we go back to border radius. From border radius is where we are going to do it percentage. Okay, from here now. So instead of pixels, because remember the problem we have when we make it pixels, when we select on this image and we increase or reduce the size, it starts becoming circle. We want whatever size we give it is going to be proportional to that particular size. So we go back to this place, select on the div, go back to advanced, and we are going to go to border radius, switch this to percentage, and in the percentage, whatever size we give it now is going to be what is going to be, even if we select this element and reduce the size. I hope you are seeing it now. It's not turning anything to a circle or to a box. It's maintaining that particular size. So you want to maintain the size of your border radius no matter what size of whether you are using it on a mobile phone or a tablet. Make sure the border radius is set to percentage, and that will solve all of that problem. So this is how to actually fix that. But when you do this and you want the icon to be clickable, make sure you wrap the div itself with a link wrapper. So wrap it with a link, automatically this converts to a link. But if you don't wrap it to the link, someone click this part of the div, it's not going to take them to where the link is, except they click on this particular element itself. So to make everything clickable, just wrap the whole div with a link wrapper. Okay, so that's the basic things you need to know about the icon element. Icon element is something very easy. So now we are done with the icon element. Let's get back to the button element. Okay, the button element is still the same styling. All you need to do is to come over to the button style. You can give it a padding top and padding bottom. Okay, padding means from inside. We have talked about this before. To space it a little more, then you can give your typograph, type your text from over here. Okay. Now you can do your border radius and the rest of the things from here. But you can do basic styling from here. Okay. First off, which is the URL, is where you can change the link that this particular button leads to. We are going to talk about linking in a later part of this particular story. Maybe the next lecture now we are going to talk about the linking. Now the target is self. Leave it at self. Self means it is what should be clicked. Leave this as it is. Here is the content, what you want the button to be written on the button. Here is the button size. We want it to be solid, not outline. Outline means you want it to be a button that have a line outside it without a fill. But solid means you want it to be a fill without an outline. Button size, you can increase and decrease the size of the button. I told you before now that you can create a button with your text elements. You can do all of those, but all of this styling, you're not going to get it. You're going to do it yourself customly through the advanced section. But here, these things are just given to you out of the box. Here is button color. You can change the button color to whatever color you want. That's to a vibrant. Okay. Button hover color. Instead of doing before and after for a button, you can only do that when you're creating the button customly with a text. but we have the before and after from here. So when we select a before and after, automatically when we hover over it, automatically it works. You want it to make it to be soft, you can go to effect and you go to transition. We can make the transition 0.7. So make it 0.7, and when we hover over it now, it's soft and slow. So now the next thing is the text color. We can switch the text color over here to whatever style of color we want. Change it to red, change it to purple, and so on. But if it's on a red background or dark background, make the text white for visibility and readability. The text size, you can increase the text size from over here. This is the button we are still playing with. Font family, what font do you want the button to have? Whatever font you want it to have, do that. Font width, the thickness of the font, you can do that from here. Want to reduce this to 300 as you want. Now, some fonts won't reduce because they are custom fonts. If you build a custom font that doesn't have the reduction, it's not going to affect. We are going to talk about that when we are building custom fonts. So these are basic things you need to know about your button. The button styling, the border radius, you know where to do that. All of those things now are based off on your own styling. You get a point? Percentage, we are going to give it a 20. That's too much. Okay. So we are having a problem from here. We are going to give it a pixel. Okay. Make sure it's pixel on button. You can't do it on a stock element. You can't do that on a stock element. You can only do it on a custom element like div. We did it on a div. That's why you can't do it on a circle on the default button styling. You can't do border radius. It's giving you the border radius size it wants to give. But in this one, it is not a custom button. So we can't give it a percentage, but it's a stock button, the button that comes with Oxygen. But when we build our own button with our div, we can now give it a percentage like we did to this icon. It's still the same thing. If we toss in a text from here, automatically this is a button because we have already created this and called it a link. We have already wrapped it with a link. So that are the basic things you need to know about the button. These are the basic things you need to know about the button and the icon. Okay, when you want to space icons, you know what to do. You can practically drop in a div from here and drag in these stuffs inside. Sorry about that. We are supposed to drag in the div itself. The link wrapper, drag it in, and the button, drag it in here. The button is supposed to be outside. I'm trying to drag this from outside. See, when you try to drag something to the outer layer, it's becoming a problematic something. So what to do is what? Just drag it outside, leave it there, then open this structure panel. From here now, look very closely. We want to drag this particular stuff into the div, guiding this particular element, which is the link wrapper. Not even the link wrapper. We want to drag it inside this particular div. This one outside here, this one. So we want to drag this icon here, but it won't because there is no space around there for it. So what we do, we open the structure panel and drag it inside of that place. Bam, simple. You see it? It's now inside there. Then we can select on that div itself and give it a gapping of 20 to space it from each other. Then we can select it and make it horizontally aligned, and everything is going to horizontal. You know how to do this. Center align, everything is going to stack, and just play around with the rest of the things. Okay, I think we are done with that. We are done with the button and we are done with the iconography. This is basic things you need to know about the iconography. It's not a must that you must use the style color for the background, for the icon and all of that. For the assignment you did in the last module, you see how you played around with stuffs and it's looking very nicely and subtle. It's very important you make stuffs look very simple and not too busy, not too much of colors, don't play too much with stuffs. Not that you have the options to do it, that means you should do it. No, that you have the options means you have to use it, but use it in a way that it's not too difficult for people to understand the information you're trying to pass. That is it about the button and iconography. See you in the next one.